Hello, everybody! Live from the Xfinity Lounge. Welcome in to PHLY Eagles pregame show presented by Bet365 and Ashley, Bo Wulf, and Jamie Lynch here. We will hear from EJ Smith and Fran Duffy in just a little bit as we prepare for a huge game. 15 days we've been waiting for the Eagles to get back on the field, Jamie, and now they've got Jalen Phillips ready to make his debut. Nolan Smith ready to play for the first time since week 3. Michael Carter making his debut. And Brandon Graham making his season debut. The Eagles against the Packers in Lambeau Field. How you feeling?
Yeah, this is pretty great. It has been a while.
This is what it's all about.
Yeah, Monday Night Football, the whole league watching. And I said to you before the show starts, like, this is pretty awesome. We're getting an entire new defensive line. The team's trending in the right direction, I think, offensively the last 2 games. DeVonta Smith is playing like one of the best wide receivers in all of football. You're getting A.J. Brown back. The defensive line is getting help. Now you have a plethora of linebackers. You have a new secondary piece to toy around with. So you're going in the right direction, and you're getting all these new toys. So it feels damn good.
And yet, you still get to have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, Jamie. The Packers are favored in this game, despite the Eagles playing as well as they did 2 weeks ago, despite them getting all these reinforcements, despite them having destroyed the Packers the last 2 times they played last season, including in the playoffs. How do you feel about that as they go into Lambeau?
I love it because Jordan Love is cheeks. That's a little harsh. He's mid. Like, he's that 10 to 15 ranked quarterback. Like, he's a guy to me that, like, I won't fear until it's time to actually fear him. And I also think, historically, the Eagles just kind of own the Packers a little bit. I don't know if, Mark Murphy's had this one circled for a little while.
We'll hear from Mark Murphy before the kickoff show is over.
I feel like the Eagles just have their number. And, good rush defense, yada, yada, yada. I don't care. I like the Eagles' chances a lot in this one. So, yeah, I'm pumped up.
So the big news from the inactives, as they are out for the Eagles, really the big news was the activation of Nolan Smith, that he will play in this game. Brandon Graham will play in this game. Now, you notice, obviously, that Jair Alexander is inactive, which is an interesting one, as the news broke yesterday that he did not travel with the team because he's still working his way back from the injury, and also coach's decision, which I felt a little bit interesting only because, like, Jair Alexander going back to Green Bay, if you're leaning into the connection, like, this is a chance for him to really, like, ingratiate himself with the new team. I thought it was a little bit interesting that he is not there. But
yeah, I was like, why to not travel with the team too? Like, I don't know. I also found that a little odd.
Yeah, A.J. Dillon inactive, continues to be inactive. Mac McWilliams. Now, the other interesting thing here, Adoree Jackson is active despite missing some time during practice last week. The reports from the people on the ground are that he is lining up on the outside with the starting defense in nickel, not Keely Ringo. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just, what is it? The devil you know is better than the devil you don't know.
And they kind of know both of them.
Yeah, I guess they're going to give him a last chance, is my read on that, before they make something drastic kind of change. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully somebody takes this job, because I don't want to continue to talk about cornerback 2 the remainder of the year.
For the Packers, Matthew Golden, their rookie first-round receiver, is out, so they're down a receiver there, and they're obviously down Tucker Kraft as well, so a bit of a different look for them on offense against this Eagles defense that all of a sudden looks a lot different.
Yeah, I guess Josh Jacobs is the big worry tonight. He's quite good at running the football. The Eagles have this new defensive line group. BG is here to set an edge and kind of reel in the rushing defense to a degree. But you'd really like to see, Ojimo and Davis and Carter, particularly Jalen Carter, have a big game today in making Josh Jacobs' life a little more difficult.
What are your expectations for Jalen Phillips?
I don't really know. I feel like they're going to ease him in a little bit. 20 snaps, 25?
It seems about, yeah.
Something around that. I don't want to have too much. He does know the system, so part of me is greedy and like, all right, let's go, day one. Like terminology should be the same. Vic's
Go
defense.
get the quarterback.
Get the quarterback.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see when we talk to Fran, like, are they going to run some stunts? Are they going to have him come inside? He was on pace under Vic Fangio to have his best season as a pro before he got hurt. So I would love to see if he gets a sack tonight, that defense is going to be frothed up and ready to go.
I think that's right. And I think you mentioned Jalen Carter. I'm interested to see if he comes off the bye looking like a bit of a different player, a little extra healthy. I think there's a chance that all of a sudden this defensive line looks a lot different just in terms of their ferociousness than they have most of the season.
Yeah, and Nolan Smith brings that physicality. He's a little bit of a psycho.
Eliminated Elton Jenkins from the game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because of that physicality.
So looking forward to him because he kind of had a slow start in those first 3 games. So it's great to get him back in the mix. BG is going to be out there smack talking his ass off. That's going to be good. I think the defense he's one of those guys that people feed off of. So like that defensive line, I wouldn't be surprised if they get, 3 or 4 sacks tonight because there's just some extra juice in that room.
All right. Well, speaking of extra juice, why don't we head now to the Xfinity mobile call-in line? And listen, we are nice and cozy here in the studio. Let's send it out to Lambeau Field, where E.J. Smith is on the scene. Tell us how cold it is, E.J. What do you see on the field? All that good stuff. How are your travels?
You know how much this pains me, right? Like you're just rubbing it in. So for our viewers who are not aware, I tested positive for COVID over the weekend and was not able to make the trip to Lambeau Field. And yeah, my wife may have told me that I need to stop dwelling on the fact that I'm not at the game, but I need this.
I think you should have really bundled up. I think you should have just been sitting there in 8 layers of clothing. Yeah,
a parka, some Gore-Tex.
It's funny because I almost did wear the hat I had on for the Friday show. That was the meat packer,
nice
boxing Rocky, the meat packer from Rocky. But no, I decided not to go with the hat this time. Maybe for the post game show I'll bundle up if you'd like that. Try and get like a snow machine. Maybe I can try and get that really.
There
fast
you go.
For you. Yeah.
So what are we doing here? What are we going to talk about?
I mean, we can still talk about the Eagles. I've been in quarantine, man. This is I need this. This is the human interaction that I've been lacking in my quarantine here.
All right. While we have you, I want to talk about the offense because we've talked a little bit about the defense, and I think we'll talk about that with Fran as well. But your expectation for what kind of game plan we're going to see here? Last time out, probably the best game plan we've seen from them all season long. Very diverse, lots of different stuff that worked off of each other, and that was without A.J. Brown. So with A.J. Brown back, do you expect this to be a little bit more like we saw early in the season? Do you expect this to be a Saquon Barkley heavy game again? What are your expectations for what Kevin Patullo will cook up tonight?
Yeah, I think that this is going to be if anything, a Saquon Barkley heavy game. I think that this could look more like the Eagles looked last year. The Packers are susceptible to some of those outside runs. We talked about that during the week, and I think that the run first nature of the team last year. I don't think they're going to be as dominant in the run game necessarily, but again, we saw glimpses of it against the Giants before the bye week, and I think the under center play action game is kind of like the counterpunch there. So I think they will keep leaning into those under center looks and what it affords them in the run game, being able to get Saquon Barkley out in the perimeter and changing the timing of some of those runs. So yeah, I think that this is probably, if I had to guess, I'd guess it's a Saquon Barkley game. But I mean, to your point, like the A.J. Brown return, like that should only open up the play action game more. A.J. Brown is exactly the type of receiver that you want in those types of situations off, whether it's a deep crosser or a post route or any of those in breakers. That's A.J. Brown's bread and butter right there. So yeah, I think that's what I would expect from this, from the Eagles offense. I mean, the Packers run a lot of zone coverage, so I don't think this is necessarily like one of those games where you want Jaelan to throw the ball 40 or almost 50 times in a game just because of the fact that he hasn't been as effective against zone coverage this year.
So EJ, the Packers are one of the best teams in the league at not allowing those splash plays, but they're a very good rushing defense on top of it. If you're Patullo and in his shoes tonight, is that something like you just said with the zone coverage that you want to challenge what they do well? Or do you want to attack them on the ground, which they also do well?
How
would you play that?
Good, sorry.
No, that's it.
I would
Put
probably,
it-
lean. I would lean on Saquon Barkley. I think like with the Eagles offense, there's two things that are true here where it's like in the run game, I feel like they should still be able to get it going because they have the talent that they have. And we've seen them be successful against teams that rank well against the run, and especially those perimeter runs. I mean, we've seen them kind of hit their head against the wall on some of those like inside zone runs. I think if they could be creative with it, I think that it should be open for them there. But also like, in terms of the shot plays, especially if they do have the run game going, I think they'll have matchup advantages with AJ Brown and DeVonta Smith. So, I think that it really is going to start with them being on schedule more. They haven't been on schedule very often this year. They've been more of an EPA team rather than an explosive play team. Or sorry, they've been more of an EPA team other than like a success rate team, right?
Yeah.
So I think if they can get on schedule and stay on schedule, that would be a big part of like being able to take advantage of those matchups.
And then what do you make of the decision to apparently start Adoree Jackson on the outside?
Yeah, so I saw like conflicting reports on this.
Oh.
So maybe they both got some reps. I'm not sure. But yeah, I saw that Keely Ringo may have gotten some reps with the ones too. I think Adoree Jackson is probably like I mean, we've talked about it for months now. He's like the higher floor, lower ceiling. And then Keely might be a slightly higher ceiling, but the floor is so much lower. So honestly, the only thing that I would like actually bet on, the thing I would feel the strongest about is that they will be flexible about it. If one of those guys struggles, they've got the other one available, and then they even have Michael Carter up for this game. Maybe they put Cooper DeJean on the outside if they feel like they have a problem there. But honestly, this is a game where the Packers are so depleted at wide receiver. You'd like to think that whoever you have out there, you can manage the game with them in there.
EJ, who makes the biggest impact tonight? Jalen Phillips, Nolan Smith, or Buddy BG?
That's a good one. I'd probably go Jalen Phillips, but I kind of want to go BG here because it's like BG's like he knows the system. He apparently he's made plays in practice. We've heard from a few guys that he's looked good in practice. And I don't know if you're asking me like who's going to give you like 10 really solid snaps, I might go BG, but I think I have to go Phillips just because I could see him making some splash plays. Did it surprise you how heavy they went at edge rusher for this game? They activated Patrick Johnson there too. So
right.
I was a little surprised by that. I guess they just.
I think it would be disappointing if Patrick Johnson gets snaps on defense tonight, unless it's in a blowout situation. But it's probably special teams. All right, before I ask you for your prediction, EJ, let's run through a couple super chats because I think a couple of them have to do with you. We've got Real Time with Dr. Prince Blue, who says, sick EJ, not even in Lambeau. And Frank Barber says, EJ, the real feel for tonight's game is COVID-19.
I feel fine.
Also, the Gales of November came early.
That's an Edmund Fitzgerald reference.
You were talking about
from
this.
Gordon Lightfoot, the classic, the anniversary of the sinking. That's good work, Frank Barber.
All right, AJ, what do you got?
I'm gonna go Eagles 27, Packers 23. I'm gonna guess that it ends on a defensive stand from Vic Fangio's group. So that's my guess. And I want to. Have we set an over under on tush pushes yet? Like I feel.
Oh yeah, what do you think they do tonight with that?
I mean, I'm sure that they will be obnoxious about it at some point. Yeah. I mean, I understand that Bo has been like, banging the drum for them running it on the first play. I think that'd be funny, but I don't think that it would happen.
I haven't been banging that drum.
I mean, that's a good bit.
I talked about it in the spring. I was ahead of everybody on it, but yeah.
Okay, so you coined it, is what you're saying.
I coined it.
I would go like tush push counter like 5. Is that too safe?
I would be surprised if it's that many.
I mean, yeah, I was trying to set it high.
Okay.
But I didn't want to get ridiculed for saying like 3 or like 2. Let's set it at 4, and I'll take the over at 4.
Okay. All right, EJ. Stay warm, bundle up, enjoy that historic Lambeau Field, and we will talk to you.
Don't rub it in. I'm so disappointed that I don't get to see Lambeau.
We will talk to you in the post-game show to find out what you see during this game. Thank you, EJ.
All right, guys. Talk soon.
See ya.
And with that, we take a quick break to hear from some sponsors. On the other side, we'll talk to Fran Duffy, and we'll also talk some tush push. Black Friday starts right now at Ashley. Door-busting deals, unbeatable prices. Style your home and save big today. Discover unbeatable deals on inspiring styles during Ashley's Black Friday event and take advantage of Black Friday special financing with 0% interest for 60 months only at Ashley. Offers valid through November 30th, 2025. Restrictions and exclusions may apply.
And you can find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. You can find out why over 780,000 events are streamed every year on Bet365. And with football going, they have you covered on everything. Thursday Night Football, they got the $10 safety net bet. Sunday Night Football, a $365,000 jackpot. Monday Night Football, tonight, 50% super profit boost tokens on same game parlays. And make sure you're keeping your eyes peeled for the PHLY custom same game parlay, a spicy little plus 1100 action tonight for you. But you can find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers right now can get $300 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use that code PHLY365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 and older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Black Friday starts right now at Ashley. Door-busting deals, unbeatable prices. Style your home and save big today. Discover unbeatable deals on inspiring styles during Ashley's Black Friday event and take advantage of Black Friday special financing with 0% interest for 60 months only at Ashley. Offer valid through November 30th, 2025. Restrictions and exclusions may apply. All right, back on the PHLY Eagles pregame show. We dial back up the Xfinity mobile call-in line. Do we have him? Our man.
He's probably listening to
in
Edmund
the film
Fitzgerald.
room. Doing guys.
I saw some doing guys emojis popping up in the chat there from our supporters club. So thank you to everybody using the doing guys emoji.
A lot of action in the chat. People voting on the poll.
Yeah.
Who's going to have the biggest impact tonight?
Nice. What would you go with?
I think I'd go Jalen Phillips.
It'd be nice to see Nolan Smith just come out of a cannon.
I agree with that.
So that would be cool. But BG could, like Josh Jacobs
Yeah, why
is
not?
the thing they do best. If he's in on designated running downs and can set an edge and get that going a little bit, that would be a big impact.
All right, let's do it now. Xfinity mobile call-in line. Fran Duffy from the Film Cave. How you doing, Mr. Duffman?
What's going on, gentlemen? By the way, I mean we gotta take the under on five tush pushes. What are we doing here, EJ?
I mean, it's possible.
It's possible. It's
This
situational.
is the spike tush push game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a high level. They haven't run it the past 2 weeks, I believe.
Maybe Sirianni's been building up.
Yeah.
Just saving it all for
Yeah.
We've got a little bit more tush push conversation coming before we get off here tonight. But Fran, on the defensive side of the ball, what do you expect from the way they're going to use these guys and, Vic being able to potentially play the way that he wants to play now that he has more tools on defense?
Yeah, it's a good question because I think that it might be a little different tonight compared to what we see, say, 3 to 4 weeks from now. I do think that there's more. To me, I think they're going to be more inclined to rotate these guys for different reasons, right? Like I don't know that you need to throw Jalen Phillips right into the fire and have him play, 85% of the snaps, right, in his first game in Eagles green. Nolan Smith coming off the injury, BG's first game. I feel like they want to try and rotate those guys, just keep everybody fresh. I'm excited to see, what the usage is for a guy like Jalen Phillips. How often is he inside? If they do put him inside, what does that mean for Jalen Carter and Moro Ojimo? Do one of those guys kick outside to try and get a favorable matchup, or are they coming off the field for Brandon Graham? It's going to be interesting to see what the utilization is and what the rotation looks like.
Fran, what's your best guess as to the linebacker situation tonight? Obviously, with 6 defensive edges, Jahad Campbell not really needed up there. How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a tough one. I do think that this is one where, to me personally, I would rather see Campbell get the lion's share of the snaps there between he and Nakobe Dean. But my guess is they're going to go kind of every other series. That would be my guess, just based off how they acted over the last couple of weeks. But I guess we'll find out here.
So off of that, Fran, you've watched a bunch this year. Who's been better against the run? Because it looks to me like Nakobe's been kind of like popping in the backfield a lot on rushing plays, at least in the small sample size that we know. Like Jihad versus Nakobe straight up, since Josh Jacobs is the difference maker tonight. Who's been better against the run?
Yeah, I mean, Nakobe sees things faster than Jihad Campbell does. There's no question about that. He's a third-year pro. He has to maximize every ounce of physical ability that he has. He's not as big as Jihad Campbell. He's not as strong as Jihad Campbell. He's not as fast as Jihad Campbell. So he's not as long as Jihad Campbell. Like, you go down the list of all the physical traits, Jihad Campbell's got him beat. But now the thing with Nakobe is he has always been small. He's always been a step slow. He's always had shorter than ideal arms, right? So he has learned how to kind of overcome those disadvantages. Now, I think it'll be, to me, it's better long term for the Eagles for Jihad Campbell to get these mental reps, to really kind of stack that and learn what he can and can't get, what he can't do, what are the things that he can get away with in trying to go backdoor on a block, or how he's going to try and take on a pulling guard in the hole. Those are things that he's going to have to continue to work through. He has not been bad, though, and so that's what's tough about it, is that I don't think that Jihad Campbell has been bad against the run. Is Nakobe Dean better? Yes, but I don't know that that's better for the 2026 Philadelphia Eagles either.
And then what do you make of what they're going to do on the outside with potentially Dory Jackson or Keely Ringo? How would you like to see that play out?
To me personally, tonight, I would rather see Ringo. And they might look at it as, if you're following the EJ rubric of, all right, it's a higher floor with a Dory Jackson, higher ceiling with Keely Ringo, and with the way that Green Bay's receiving core has been decimated due to injury, let's just go with the high floor option, like the guy that's not going to get us beat. I think that there's some validity there, and then you get into next week, and that's when you really start to see the identity of the secondary really kind of take shape with the new additions and what that rotation looks like with Cooper DeJean and Carter. Obviously, no Jair Alexander tonight, but I think looking at how they use those guys tonight, I don't know that that's necessarily going to speak to how they do next week when they play the Detroit Lions.
So, Fran, we have a poll up in the chat right now. Nolan Smith, Jalen Phillips, BG. Who has the biggest impact? And impact is defined by you, the beholder. Who has the biggest impact in the game tonight?
I'm going to go Nolan Smith. I think that he's going to be, he was working obviously very hard behind the scenes to get back on the field, and the target was over the last couple of weeks, like, I want to get back for Green Bay, post-bye. So I know that he was itching to get back out on the football field. Obviously, Jalen Phillips is going to get a lot of attention, but I think that Nolan Smith, something tells me he'll be gearing ready to go tonight.
All right, Fran, give us your prediction, and then we'll let you go.
I'm going to go... We go Eagles 31, Packers 17. The Eagles win by a couple touchdowns here. At least 11 points.
Fran, where's Jordan Love fall in your pecking order of quarterbacks right now?
At the very top.
Higher
we already
than
know
yours,
this.
for sure.
Yeah.
Number one? It's sad.
All right, Fran.
Not number one. I mean, look, he's got all the physical ability, but the play has been a little bit up and down compared to what we saw for most of last year, but he's a good quarterback for sure.
All right, we will talk to you, Fran, on the post-game show. We'll get a little breakdown from you. Enjoy the game, and we love you. All right, let's take a quick break, hear from some sponsors again, and then we're going to talk our bets and the Tush Push, which we all know is going to be very exciting tonight. Start by telling you about our friends at Ace Hardware Home Services, because if I need something done in my house that is outside of my capability, which frankly is a lot, my first call is to Ace Hardware Home Services. When the weather turns chilly, the last thing you need is a home project piling up. Ace Hardware Home Services brings trusted local pros right to your door to help you get your home ready for the colder months. From heating tune-ups and plumbing fixes to generators and emergency repairs, their experts handle it all. No guesswork, no stress, just a local pro to get the job done right. Satisfaction guaranteed. Find the help you need for your next home project at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
The other day, I was out in Wisconsin, and Mark Murphy invited me over to his house to watch some ball. His setup was a total disaster. Like, a lot of opinions in his life. Lagging, buffering. He couldn't even find the right remote. The guy was a doofus, frankly. And he claimed he was a big fan of football. I felt like I was fanfish when I was there. So see for yourself what a true football fan does. You gotta have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. You can find the best games and your favorite teams all in one place. One button brings you stats. It's the perfect fan flex. You got all the action in your living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. So clear, it feels like you're EJ Smith in Lambeau Field. So sometimes you get 4 games going on at once, because why not? On top of that, you get the real-time notifications and live stats right there on your TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. So next game day, make sure that big fan mark isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
All right, back on the PHLY Eagles kickoff show. Before we get to our best bets, Jamie, you know, this is a rivalry game.
Yeah.
After all the shenanigans from Mark Murphy, before he was fan fishing you, he was trying to fan fish the NFL fans, trying to rob the Tush Push. Well, just in terms of like the in the weeds of what makes the Tush Push happen, I think you're going to like what you see here from Jason Kelce on the Peyton's Place recent episode, explaining to Peyton how it is that you need to get the Tush Push to happen.
All right, Peyton, I'm going to teach you how to block like a center on the Tush Push. It's time you know how this play actually works.
Show me.
All right, here you go. Always so I go 4-point stance. You snap, and the first thing you do, you're going to put your face down. You're going to keep your ass up so that your feet don't slide out from under you.
Okay.
So the strategy is to get here, boom, and then you're crawling and grinding your feet.
It's easy.
Yeah.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Let's see it. Oh, hold on, Bubba. That's too high. Remember, face down. Ass up. That's the way I like to block.
All right.
We're on one, Peyton. Sit up. 180. 180, sit up. Oh, nice. There you go. Way to drive it. Now we're ready. Great job, Peyton. Great job. You're ready for the brotherly shove, brother.
There we go. Courtesy of Omaha Productions. How about that? Check out that episode of Peyton's Place with Jason Kelce.
Jason Kelce with a good little zinger in there.
Yeah.
Likes early 2000s hip-hop. Who doesn't?
Listen, I mean, if we're going to see 5 of them tonight, now you know how to make them happen.
It is funny to see Peyton do that and just like the physical difference between an offensive lineman's arms and his.
Yes. And there's a good conversation in that whole episode about how you know, what Kelce does and why it is a little bit different than a normal quarterback sneak. Although for him, it's maybe not. I'm excited to see if Nick Sirianni really like gets demonstrative about a Tush Push tonight.
I mean, it is a pretty damn good bit. Like if he goes out there tonight and runs it 5 to 7
he needs
times,
to go. He needs to go this. He needs to give it the give
it to the crowd a little bit. Where you at, Mark? It's pretty funny. So I do think it gets ramped up. I don't think EJ is that crazy for the 5.
All right. How about our best bets for this game? Our friends at Bet365. I know you've got the same game parlay. What else do you have your eyes on?
So our same game parlay tonight on the site right now, you can get it. It's boosted to plus 1,100. We got a little Eagles money line. And by the way, Bo, the line has moved. The Eagles are now favored by 1.5.
Wow.
So you get Eagles money line, Saquon Barkley, 90-plus rushing yards. I think this is the toughest part of the parlay. DeVonta Smith, 70-plus receiving yards.
That's a big one.
It is. Plus 1,100. It's a spicy meatball. So you can check that one out. For my best bets, I'm going Jaelan Tush Push, first touchdown.
Okay.
Plus 600 to me is really nice odds on that. I think Josh Jacobs is the leader in the clubhouse.
For the Saquon game.
Yeah, it's kind of like counterintuitive to what the Packers are because they're a very good rushing defense. But I'm going Saquon over 97.5 combined rushing and receiving yards. And then I'm going Jalen Hurts over throws, 27.5. So I think I'll have 28 attempts tonight.
Okay. Now, I'm going to feel like a sucker here because I really felt like both of the wide receiver lines were way too low for DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown. I think DeVonta was at 53.5, A.J. 57.5.
Ooh, that is
to me, this is a game where even if Jalen Hurts throws for 150 yards, the targets are going to get funneled to those guys. We've seen it forever. So maybe the game is too cold for them to throw, and I look like a doofus here. But I'm going both of those. I feel like both are very gettable. And then I am betting against Jaelan as a runner in this game, under 8.5 attempts. The tush push is part of that, obviously.
Yeah.
And so are the scrambles. But we have just seen that the quarterback designed run game is not a part of this offense right now. And I don't expect that to change on a freezing cold night just coming off of a bye. That wouldn't really make sense to me.
I like that. I don't think he's going to be rushing a ton. And clearly it's something, whether he's doing it or Patullo's doing it, it's something they don't really want to do much this year. So I think that's a fairly safe bet.
Jalen Phillips, who said this week that getting traded to the Eagles
How
was
about that?
the greatest thing that's ever happened in his life. What would your answer be?
The greatest thing that ever happened in my life?
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious one's the girls, you know.
Yeah, but you got to pick one. I mean,
Ugh. Can I just lump them together? Yeah. I mean, maybe doing the show with you, Bo, and Julie.
my man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to say the girl. Well, then I'll go with the wedding date because the girls don't happen if it's not for the wedding date.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one.
There you go.
Clearly.
I love you too. All right, what's your prediction? How do you see this game going?
Well, I got a belly full of pulled pork and pulled chicken, Bo, so I'm seeing things clearly.
Thanks to who?
Our friends over at Mission Barbecue
Yeah,
brought in
baby.
some
What a
grub
spread.
tonight. So I have pure mental clarity right now. I had some sausage, some bread pudding, some mac and cheese, some green beans. So I'm seeing things clearly here. I got a little Arnold Palmer in the cup.
Oh, yeah.
A little nice item. I think the Eagles own the Packers. I think Jordan Love sucks. And I'm going Eagles 34, Packers 24.
Wow. I got to tell you, everybody's picking the Eagles, even though the Packers open as favorites. It makes me feel like really tingly that the Packers are going to win this game. And I've thought about that really most of the week, even though I think the Eagles are the better team. But I told Anthony this morning I needed to sleep on it. You know,
Did you get a nap?
BG is going to come in first thing tomorrow morning. We're going to be here late tonight. I needed to get a nap this afternoon.
How long was said nap?
That was about an hour and a half.
Okay, that's about the most I like to nap. Anything more than that, I wake up tired again.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I woke up. And it's just hard to think that this Eagles team with all these reinforcements coming off the bye, the number one seed odds for the NFC hinge a lot on this game. I got to go with everybody. I'll feel wrong when
Water's
it happens, but I'm
warm.
taking the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to win this. I think the defense is going to be good tonight.
I do too. I think they're going to feed off the juice.
And so I'm going to go Eagles 24-13.
All right, that's a really good defensive performance.
Yeah.
We got a turnover in that mix?
Probably, yeah.
All right. Who we got? Call your shot.
Let's take a look at the poll results, and maybe it'll be one of these people. Jalen Phillips with the nod here. I'm going to go the turnover comes. We haven't seen a Zach Bond pick
Ooh, I like it.
this year, right?
I don't think so. I'll have to check.
I think that's right.
I don't think
So
so.
I think we're going to get a Zach Bond pick
All right, I
on
like
Jordan
it.
Love, and I also think we are going to see that tush push. And I hope
He does have one pick.
he does.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope that when we get a tush push in this game, that the people at ESPN go up to the owner's box and show Jeffrey Lurie. And I think that's how we're going to play out tonight.
It was
So
the
we're-
Rams game.
We're going to be here with the halftime show to talk about it. We're going to be here with Super Bowl champion Vinny Curry on the post-game show. We thank everybody for watching here, but we got to play you out with the one thing that everybody is looking forward to tonight, and that is Jeffrey Lurie stomping on Mark Murphy by way of song.
There was a time when boys grew hair, when their voices cracked and their bodies were changing. There was a time when the underwear and the sheets were a mess because the thoughts were exciting. There was a time, then our play came along. I dreamed wet dreams in time gone by of plays so good they'd be worth banning. I I dreamed the league would really try. I dreamed that Raj would be demanding. Then I was young and hadn't shagged, and dreams were had and tissues wasted. There was no Luvu to be flagged, no tush unpushed Lombardies tasted. But the Packers can't be right with Mark Murphy soft as cheddar, as he references Bart Starr. Once our play out of the game, I paid Troy Vincent all that cash. For 8 years we both got better. Now he says I'm being crass, as if grown women are so tame. Of course I'm not a teenage boy. Now we will push the tush forever. Every first down will bring me joy, and we will beat the league together. Wet dreams my life would be exactly like this life I'm living. I'm richer now than some countries. So kiss my old ass, Mark Murphy.
We all silly like the mayor.